Hi, I'm LouLouCore. I'm probably most known for speedrunning Brattle, but I decided this year to speedrun this little simple game called Unravel 2. It's really fun. It's movement based, and let's just get into it. So usually the timer will start on the movement, the first frame of movement. So I'll just begin and then let you know when to start the timer. So there's a small cutscene in the beginning that doesn't. Uh, for anyone who have played the first game, this cutscene literally doesn't matter even for the first game. It's just a way to actually just intro this game in a way. But yeah, some of you might not even know what this game is all about, and even myself, when it first came out, I didn't really know what it was. I just knew it was like a cute little game where you play as two characters, and I thought it was really interesting. So I just bought the game and tried it out, and it turns out that it was really fun, and decided to just learn how to speedrun it. Uh, I should say this game is also available like on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. But I'm playing the Switch version right now, so obviously the graphics are a little bit meh in a way, but it shouldn't matter much. So like I explained, you play as both characters, so uh, basically I have to do everything by myself, but there's also a multiplayer mode where you can play like as two, and the the tech when you play a two-player for the speedrunning are actually insane. It's probably one of the few like speedruns where I'm like, two players is probably better. Also, 3, 2, 1, go. So there's not much in the first chapter. It's basically just learning how to play, how to move, like all the little mechanics works. It's just learning about the game. So here, when you reach this, you can actually, it tells you that you can change the color of your characters, but obviously, taking the time to do that, it takes obviously a little bit of time, so we're only gonna stay red and blue, which are nice colors. So like they explain here, there's like two types of jump. If you lightly press the jump button, oh god. If you lightly press the jump button, you're gonna do a short hop. If you really like press it hard, you're gonna do a long jump or higher jump. Oh, okay. A little bit of nerve. It's fine. Anyway, the movement in this game is really nice, I would say. It's one of the reasons why I decided to pick up this game, because usually I would speedrun more like glitch every game, but this one, like the movement, I just really liked it, so I decided to go with it. So for now, it's fairly simple. The puzzles are not too hard. It's still the first chapter. It explains to you what you can do and what you can't. Also, oh yeah, I didn't say it, but there's this mechanic where you can shoot a part of your body, like a yarn thing, and it helps you go through some part of the stage like that, just by swinging yourself. Also, if I jump, I'm not in fall animation, so I can jump and skip a small landing cutscene. Also, I don't jump a lot because air time is actually slower in this game. It's faster to only run most of the time. As boring as it sounds, it's just that much faster, but jumping is fun. And we still do a lot of jumping, obviously, because of all the puzzles that they throw at us. So here's our first instance of using 2 characters. So it teaches you how to drop down, how the slide works. Here I'm jumping because it's faster to jump there, but you can just move around when those leaves are like that. And so we're gonna be introducing another mechanic of the game where it's basically you're making a bridge and then you can just drop it and climb back. So again, by using the bridge that we can make, the yarn, we can actually move objects with it, and I don't know how it doesn't break, but it's fine, it works. And so obviously they want us to make bridges like that. So I've been using this mechanic like quite a few times, but they actually tells you how to basically go back to your friends in a way. It's like pulling the yarn, but I've been using it for like a few things already, so it doesn't really like, I guess, don't really see it except when I do that. Otherwise. Okay. So there's obviously a limit to how far you can actually go away from the other character, but it's quite a stretch, to be honest. There's like very few instances where you can go far enough that you're like too far. And so this should be soon the end of chapter 1. Oh, I missed it, but there you can actually jump on that brick. And it skips a little bit of swimming. I don't know what's up with the Switch version, but climbing and swimming is actually like slightly slower for some reasons compared to PC, PS4 and Xbox. I don't know what they did, but it is how it is. Yeah, that should be it for the first chapter. Now. Yep. And now we're going into a... Oh, forgot. Far. Jew. I forgot the English name for that, but it's whatever. This is gonna be like the main lobby, basically, where we can access every stages of the game. Oh, the lighthouse, oh my god. I keep saying that word. I completely forgot it. But yeah, there wasn't much of like a story element in the first chapter because it was basically just introducing us to the mechanics of the game. But throughout the next stages, there's gonna be like stuff happening in the background. We're gonna see 2 kids actually going through like some some problems, and somehow we're gonna fix them for them. We're gonna help them going through whatever they're going through. And so on to chapter 2. One thing that I really like about this game that makes me want to like keep playing it sometimes is just the music. It's really like ambient and really relaxing, and I don't know. I just like a good game with a good music. That like the music can help just telling the story. It's really nice. So here we're gonna have a small little cutscene right after we collect this little sparkle there on the floor. And this is gonna be the beginning of the story that basically happens in the background while we're playing. I'm not quite sure what this place is, but look, the kid in the background right now looks like he's going through like some problems, being chased or something. And he really doesn't know what to do. He's like out of option. So this cutscene here, I don't know what's up with it, but sometimes it loops. It's gonna happen. And one time I waited like up to a minute, but hopefully we won't. I don't know what causes that. It's really weird. But it just loops it. Okay, we're able to play now. It's really random. I've tested a lot of things, and I'm not quite sure what triggers that loop, but it happens. It's not a big deal. It's usually for me early enough in the runs to just reset and get over it. But yeah, the kid now is getting some help from a friend, and he's just leaving by the window. So here we're supposed to drop down, make a bridge, but we're smarter than that. I missed that, wow. Usually the lower your angle is when you swing, the faster you'll go. So that might happen sometimes that I'll just hit a wall and have to go for another try. Just like that, almost happened again. So those slopes here, I cannot go like up them, so I really have to get over by swinging myself. Here I'm gonna try something. They want you to make a bridge, but yeah. You can actually drop yourself and just hit the floor. Almost. I'll go for it another time, otherwise I'll just do the normal way. There you go. It's a small little skip, but it saves a little bit of time and it's quite nice. So here we get more stories, and as much as I try to look for it, there's no real way to skip this kind of cutscene. Unless you really gotta go super high in the sky, but it's not doable right now. So here we're gonna be introduced to an enemy. If we touch it, we just basically die. And I have to restart from a checkpoint. And they're all cycle based, so the faster you go there, the easier it is usually. Yeah, I missed it. I'm gonna have to wait, because you cannot jump over those that are like stacked like that. You can't wall jump over those though. Ah, come on. Damn. I'm not quite sure exactly how I do that sometimes, but I'll just make the character float to the other one. I kind of know the inputs, but it's not consistent at all, so it's just a nice bonus when it happens. But there's a thing that is very similar in the co-op speedrun, which is insane, because when you recall basically when the two characters are split in co-op, when you try to bring them back together, they're just gonna like zoom to the other one, and so if both characters try to do it at around the same time, they're gonna zoom to each other like really fast, and they can gain a lot of momentum and actually go over some triggers, and it's really special to see. It's weird. But multiplayer for this game is only local, so it's hard to find someone that wants to play this game. And we'll just go over the chairs. So recently this stage, someone called Blanc W actually figured out a way to basically skip the entire stage with a skateboard. However, it is really easy to soft lock, and it is not consistent for now. And when I made my estimate, actually that trick wasn't not discovered at all, and so I won't go for it because how easy it is anyway to soft lock and have to basically reload and redo the old stage. But also it basically saves 8 minutes, so I would be quite off the estimate. Anyway, I'm gonna use again the bridge there. Want to bring this thing down here, and want to make it go all the way up. This whole puzzle, funny enough, this whole puzzle can be skipped on PC for the simple fact that you can hold both left and right at the same time, and when you do that and actually do the wall jumps, it makes you go higher and higher, and you can just wall jump over basically everything. There's obviously some puzzles that'll lock yourself out if you try to skip them this way, but console doesn't have the ability to hold left and right at the same time, so no way to skip a lot of things. That's one thing that when I was talking earlier that Switch is slower here on those things, it's actually a blessing for this puzzle because you don't have to do rounds. You just have to basically chill at the same place here. Ah, come on. Some of those puzzles can be a little bit tricky because the physics sometimes just doesn't want to cooperate. Obviously, I will blame the physics, but it's all on me. Oh. Jumping over slopes also covers a lot of distance pretty quick, so this is why I bring back the blue guy a little bit higher, so I can have more time to actually react to jump. Because when you fuse both characters together, there's a little bit of time that you can act. Splush. So here we're just gonna go under the car. No big deal. Actually, if you're not standing right under the car, it actually just kills you right away. But under it, it's safe. So here we're gonna have a small puzzle skip. If I go fast enough. There you go. Because usually you would have to... Oh well, they didn't fuse. Usually you would have to climb back. And it would be a little bit slower, but... Oh, nope, okay. Those swings are really like weird. I actually don't know how casually I did that. I was doing them, but it took me some time to actually figure those out, how to like do them quickly. Because obviously taking the time to build a lot of momentum takes some time, and so I was looking to try to get those skips as fast as possible. Oh, what happened there? And so here, more shenanigans with those propulsor. Okay. If you make it fast enough, you can basically jump right in from the shadow thing. Enemies in this game don't really have a name, I believe. I've looked it up and couldn't find anything, so. Also, everything is cycle based from like the first one we've seen. Funny enough. Okay, so here I cannot skip making the bridge at all. The gap is too big this time. So now it's just more tricky puzzles to do. And one funny thing is, as long as only one of the two characters go through a loading zone, usually it's fine. It's not both characters are up here. And we're basically done with chapter 2. Small jump here. But yeah, both characters are just hiding in the ceiling right there. And so at the beginning of the stages and at the end, you can see they clearly pick up like some sparkle thing, and those are called memories, but they are actually just painting in the background between each stages that gets completed. And there's a lot that are like put through the stages, but they are not required to just finish the game. But it's definitely where sometimes some paintings are nice. And it makes some of the puzzles really tricky to get the thing and not locking yourself. And so this slide that usually guides us through the stages just opens up a lot more things. Like the trap that it opened are basically bonus stages, and those stages are quite some things. But now we want to go up the lighthouse. On to chapter 3. So you might think the stream is lagging there, but it's the game. It's literally the Switch not being able to load properly for like a few seconds. And it's gonna happen, like the frame rate sometimes gonna drop in the later stages, and it's kind of funny. Because the Switch has amazing games, but it has problems sometimes handling them. There you go. So again, just basic swinging there. Oh, God. Okay, there's a way to actually just swing yourself all the way to the wall. It usually shouldn't happen, but I don't know why. I should have been ready, I guess. So we get more stories. I'm guessing those two kids are just getting bullied or something, because I wouldn't see why there's someone just chasing them and they're like that scared. Don't worry, in the end they're fine. Looks like there was not much danger, but there's actually stuff I can start pushing that would slow me down and actually get me killed. So it was important to jump. So like the other cutscenes, sometimes this one loops. It's really rare, but I've seen it happen like a few times. Alright, didn't happen. You can also move sometimes during those cutscenes, but it's hard to know exactly where you're going. So you can just see, you can see like the mechanic between the two characters, how it works. So you have to do like puzzles as to. Now I dropped the blue guy because I can just jump over a small trigger that makes me walk a little bit slower. Again, just making a small bridge. Most of the game is basically just platforming. Oh well, I thought it would fall. It's mostly just platforming. So if I jump on those boulders and jump right away, I can actually just, move myself, jump instead of sliding and falling down. And I have a small little cutscene to like recover myself basically. So I have to wait for this. Oh wow. How did he spot me? have to wait for this guy now. It's all fine. So there's this huge puzzle coming up, but I guess it was a... They forgot to not make this hitbox bigger there, so I can just skip pretty much everything. As you can see, there's like 2 shadows I would have had to deal with, which makes the whole thing like very tedious sometimes because you have to keep track of both characters. If you're good at multitasking, though, this game's probably like nothing for you, but it was quite a challenge for me at first. Okay. There's supposed to be a turkey chasing me right now, but it looks like the turkey got lost. I don't know where it is. Oh, okay, it's there. Nope. Missed the jump. It's fine. So here, basically the segment is baiting the turkey into thinking that she's gonna get one while the other one actually just tries to bait it somewhere else. And those are basically the puzzles, because one mistake in the turkey, like you saw, like it just kills me right away. Although the checkpoints though are really, how should I say? How should I put it? Like they're really forgiving. There's a lot of checkpoints in this game. So it can make it though very hard sometimes to practice, because you want to practice till a certain point, but you don't want to hit certain checkpoints, and it's usually not doable to not hit those checkpoints. So most of the time just end up practicing the whole stage altogether. So if I do it right, there might be... Nah, didn't know it. Sometimes the turkey gets confused and just gonna chill in the middle and do nothing. I've got it a few times in practice, but in runs it doesn't seem like it's working for me so far. And this is basically the end of chapter 3 now. Probably one of the shortest chapters. It's one that I really like though. There's a lot of movement and optimizations. I don't know how they make those portals, but that one came in clutch. And the music's still playing. Like I said earlier, the music is one of those things that really like drawn me to this game. It's really immersive in a way. I feel like alone, like sitting at your place alone, just playing the game. It really puts you in the mood. Just finish it basically in one sit. It's not that long. I mean, I think it took me about six hours to just finish this game. So if you're really just thinking like picking it up for fun, it's basically one evening and yeah, you're done with it most likely. The first one is also just as long, I would say. It's also a lot different. The first game, there's only one character, and so you have to do all the puzzles by yourself. And the mechanics are some are very similar, but obviously there's no like merging both characters together or like pushing stuff and everything, or just like puzzles that you should be too. But They managed to make it very interesting still. And so this cutscene, oh, I got it once to loop, but so it shouldn't happen, but sometimes it still does. And this should be the last cutscene that I'm really worried that it might loop. I don't think I've seen any other ones from memory. Like I said, you can move during the cutscenes, but there's some stuff you still cannot do, like climbing stuff sometimes. And so just holding the joystick is enough. Almost got hit there. I'm actually surprised I didn't win stumble. Wait, sometimes if I stand here, I don't go into a tumbling state. Yeah, exactly like that. Saving a little bit of frames. Whoop. Wow. Of all the jumps. So again, we're just gonna swing ourselves back. Whoop. Ow. Did I do that? That happens. Sometimes you just want to go fast and you're just a little bit under the zone where you can actually get yourself swinging again. So we're just gonna push a brake and get ourselves up there. This next section is probably one of my favorite to do. The movement's really tight. Oh, missed it. Can't play it safe. Mistakes usually doesn't cause that much time overall. There's obviously a few that are like more punishing, but overall it's not too bad. It's only if you like do a lot of them, it just accumulates, and most of the time if you're trying to go for PB pace, it just gets into your head sometimes. Every speedrunner go through that, however. I always keep merging myself there, but it's not required. It's more platforming like we saw at the beginning. And here, if both characters stand like on that tree, there's a cutscene happening. But if not both characters are like standing on it, there's just nothing. It's a small skip. It's important to not get crushed by those boulders. There's a slightly faster way to do that section, but I'm getting a little bit nervous of screwing up. Especially with the... oh wow. Swimming is very slow. I'm trying to play it safe and I just screw up even more. Amazing. Okay. There's... So now we are being introduced to a fish. And this fish is literally trying to just eat us, by the way. And so if he catches us, just like the turkeys... oh wow. Very cool. What? Something... I don't think something is right there. Okay, I've never seen that. The game just... okay, I'll just do it the normal way, I guess. Another fish just gonna... yeah. Okay, I'll just wait. Usually getting the water and then getting hit by the... hello? It usually comes pretty quick. Let's see what's up. Okay, there you go. I don't know what happened there. Broke the game. I wish it would have been a good way to break it. Okay, another fish should be chasing us? Okay. Game's fine now. So yeah, there's a lot of checkpoints in this game, and so it makes just reloading, it makes reloading like okay, I guess. Because there's some games that I've run that like the checkpoints are just insane, like super far, and so reloading just costs a lot of time. But this one, not so much. And so now we're just gonna use the power of physics. Get a character up there, and then boom. Again, we'll use basically the same trick, but we're also gonna skip the puzzle altogether. It's probably just a slight oversight from the devs there, but because they really want you to move the brake around in this room, and we just don't do that. Yeah, this should be the end of chapter 4, and so we only have 3 more chapters left. And so the frame rate here is amazing. Okay, so now we unlock more bonus stages, but we also unlock the next level of the lighthouse. And chapter 5 is probably my favorite chapter to do. There's a lot of things that is going on, a lot of like small optimization in there. It's the most, I would say, like interactive chapter. There's just always something. So now if you're not following the stories, behind, which probably not a lot of people actually do, in their first playthroughs, the two kids that were like getting chased actually are into graffitis now. And so they're just getting to troubles themselves. So here, sometimes when the light just like stands still, sometimes the character are gonna like wait a little bit and try to pick it up, and so jumping over it or like jumping above the trigger, just also skip those small animations that you just won't see much. So those guys are also cycle based. It depends when I load them. Because sometimes you can be just close enough that the first like shadow guy is gonna be loaded and start moving already, and so since I decided to play it safe now, I just gotta wait a little bit. Here we can just drop, skipping everything. So I said there's a lot of things going on. The beginning of the chapter is a little bit slow, I would say. But it picks it up. Nope. Extra jump there. And so here just like smoke, and if we hit, we just fall down all the way. And so we just want to wait for the cycles. But there's more story things. Usually when it's just like a walk-off, it's because there's something happening in the background. It's a little bit hard sometimes to see on Switch for some reasons. The other versions of the game, it's not as hard. Oh. Taking the time. So here we are introduced to fire. Fire also, just like anything, just one-shots you. You would say swing you can do because they really want you to go on the other platform, but you can make the swing all the way here, skipping to do extra stuff. Oh, kill my momentum there. It's fine. So this part is getting a little bit scary. There's some walls you just cannot touch, and the faster way to do it is actually the way to get the buttons, like the small memory thing. Oh. I hit the limit of the yarn somehow. And so that's the thing. I really didn't like show it much, but when you hit the limit, both characters basically cannot move in a certain way, and so you have to rethink how you use the yarn. Now here, if I would play on PC, I could just jump over the wall, but console doesn't have that advantage, so we have to do this slow puzzle, which always tilts me every time I die. You could do it like much faster, I guess, but the physics in this game makes the character swing sometimes in a really weird way, and so I'd rather be safe for now. So here, if I would go fast enough, I could make it like one cycle faster, but it would also mean potentially having to redo this whole thing. And so basically here, touching the floor is just not an option anymore. Most of the time. I tried to find a lot of like strats here where I could just wall jump and do a lot of things instead of just simple jumps, but there's nothing really that works fine because they all like not aligned. And so there's nothing really I can do to speed up this part. It's just I really have to wait for those. And the worst part is sometimes you could almost make the cycle here, but you can't quite get it. Now I have to go through the fire. And I got... okay. I wonder why I went there. Jeez. Here we're trapped inside that box. Touching the floor just also, again, it's just there for some reason. Oh yeah, I didn't mention, but you can look around the other joystick when you're doing nothing. Wow. I've managed to do that. Also, here for some reasons, I didn't quite get it, but there's an invisible wall. And it shows basically what this trigger for this cutscene behind is. I don't know why, but you can infinite wall jump over it. There we go. Okay, here if I'm fast enough, I might be able to make this one here. Yeah, I want to use the yarn to actually move the... Oh, wow. Press Y somehow. Anyway, I want to move the yarn. Use the yarn to move those around and then release the yarn and just get the lever there. Found a few cutscenes in the game where it's only those two guys. But we just break everything, basically. Somehow. And also apparently, well, my timing was up. We're heavy enough to break that. That cutscene was a little bit longer than I was expecting. Now we have to run away from the shadow that is chasing us. It's not actually like that hard. They're basically super slow. It's only if you like making huge movement, like huge mistakes with your movement, that you're gonna get caught most of the time. Or if you trap yourself too. And so now the two kids reunite, and they realize that they're in big trouble, so they have to hide and somehow leave the place. And so for some reason, those guys just changed their mind and go somewhere else, so the two kids can just leave. I always miss that gem somehow. Never on my first try. I can just run away. It's fine. It's basically the end of the stages, so both characters just go back there. And somehow the kids made it out too. So compared to the previous run, it's pretty tame, I would say. There's no big out of bound or anything. It's simply all based on the movement. But for those who likes that, it's pretty chill. So this stage just unlocks right away new more bonus levels, because we're already going into the other level of the lighthouse. Ashes to ashes. It's one of those stages that when you play casually, it might actually be a little bit more of a challenge compared to the other ones. Chapter 5 also would be like, I would say more of a challenge compared to most of the levels, but this run really throws you a lot of curveball. So just like chapter 5, it starts a little bit slow. There's not much. Just walking off, going to basically going to basically like the stage. It just sets the mood in a way. So here I'm jumping because it's mod, it's slow. Why that happens, I don't know. Sometimes this game has weird interactions between both characters. And so here the kids are trying to figure out how to get over the fence, and they don't quite figure it out. Also, the fence goes a little bit higher for some reason, but it basically sets up a fire, and we're going into a forest, so you can get the idea of what's gonna happen. The fire at first is very slow to catch up, but it's coming. There's also shadows now to dodge on top of that. Now this tree, I have to actually pull it. For some reason on my first playthrough I couldn't figure that out, and I somehow like make it fall by just, well, pulling it, but another way with the yarn like that. But and so in run it was really like annoying to not being able to get that simple puzzle like going, like working, I mean. Oh yeah. Huh. I ran out of yarn somehow. What? That doesn't usually happen. I always forget to jump there. So here we have to go all the way up to break this branch, and then it doesn't really matter if it's broke or not, as long as you fall. But usually it would break the rocks and everything. But if you fall faster than the branch, it just breaks anyway. We're not quite done inside that cave. Here is probably okay. If I was a little bit too slow there, it would have caught me. But yeah, the fire now spread it, and so we're gonna have to go through basically forest on fire. And so, but we learned that we can actually jump at least once, maybe twice, but not 3 times. So it makes this whole thing slightly easier, but here the game wants you to do a puzzle, but you can just swing yourself down there. And so those branches are dead, so if you touch them and they break, so you really have to know where you're going. Again, just like the other tree earlier. Here. Small wall jump. And now this. I don't really think I have to explain what's happening here. It's just... Sometimes that tree can actually just like ram you and kill you. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh, alright. This puzzle is probably one thing that I struggle the most with sometimes, because these 3 branches and isn't very cooperative. So it's gonna move and do things I don't want to. Okay, got it. But yeah, I need to stand on the tip and actually just get myself up there. Oh my god. Ah. No, what? Am I running out of yarn somehow? Looks like what? How? There you go, I fixed my problem. I'm usually fine, I don't know what happened. Like I said, you can move during the cutscene, I switch characters and did the thing. I've run out of yarn this quite a few times in places I usually don't today. When even in practice there was like a few little things off, but it's not. I just have to swing myself. But yeah, keep in mind fire basically just one-shots you. Or at least flames does. I actually didn't believe myself that I would make it. Okay. So yeah, it's important to notice the fire also on the small branches. Because if you stand on those, they're actually gonna burn you out. Now we have a bit of walking and look around. But yeah, everything is on fire. We've reached a farm now that is also on fire. And there's horses inside, and then the next thing we're gonna do is basically saving the horses. The story is very subtle, like in the background. If you don't like keep track of it, just like it's not that it doesn't matter, but you won't miss much. Oh, almost got that. Like you're not exactly missing much because the main focus of the game is on the gameplay. So it's a puzzle that we were not being introduced earlier, but basically by making a bridge there and using the weight of two boys, just make everything fall apart. Now we gotta extinguish the fire. Fast enough, okay. Because in the after this small cutscene, if I don't merge both characters together, they're gonna be like apart of each other, and so I have to take the time to merge them again. But if they fuse together, I can just run to the end of the stage. And we're done. The fire's still going though, so we're gonna have to fix that in the next chapter. But yeah, next chapter is the last one. It's probably, I would say, the most enjoyable to do, especially because it introduces you to a new mechanic midway, which makes I'll try to put it like it just makes everything fun. The movement is just more fun overall. And they pretty much did the same thing in the first game, so if you've played the first game but haven't did this one, you kind of know what's gonna happen. So again, the light just opens up more things, and last chapter is all the way up there. Last chapter of the game. It's the only chapter that you have to go on the left side when you start instead of the right. So there's a lot of shadows there. It's important to not miss those jumps, otherwise you just die and have to redo the whole thing. kid somehow gets up there, and the adults that were chasing them from the factory are still also looking for them. Some firefighters wasn't enough to make them stop. So it's this puzzle is like the kind of puzzle that every time I do it, I just kind of forget how to do it. But I should be fine now. But yeah, there's like runs sometimes that I just reach that puzzle and I just completely blanked and forgot how to do it completely. And lost PB pace because of that. Almost got crushed there. Also, sliding up the walls, you probably saw it, but it's pretty slow overall, just sliding up things. So I try to not do it as a lot, but sometimes it just happens, I guess. So they're really just trying every single puzzles they can, because the second part of this stage is actually not that puzzle heavy, and this is probably why I feel like it's probably one of the best way to end a game in a way. Just make it like as enjoyable as possible. And so now we're opening gates, so we can just basically drown everyone. No, but it's gonna extinguish the fire, and there's gonna be a lot of things happening in the background, some parts, so yeah. And that's the mechanic I was talking about earlier. They give you a double jump at the end. For some reasons, the double jump is only earned on the last half of the last chapter. It's a thing you wish you had probably like through the whole thing, but hey, it's only really useful here. And so how this thing works is basically if you touch water, if you touch a wall, you get back your second jump. And so wall jumps are pretty nice. But also if you swing yourself from those things, you gain back your double jump too. So the movement is pretty, I would say, like it's free in a way. It just feels nice because there's just a lot of way to move. Oh, it's fine. it's the only time really where double jumping is faster, or jumping in general. Also, this wooden platform should have been triggered, but not touching it actually doesn't make it move. But anyway, it's faster to just double jump through the water. I somehow was in the air when I jumped there. Again, you expect to slide up those rocks there, and oh, did I touched the fire there? Okay, happens. But yeah, some of those rocks actually doesn't make you slide for some reasons on Switch, so you have to walk up them. There's other example of that through the game, but usually it doesn't really affect gameplay. Just really those in that stage are, you know, a little bit important, I would say, because it just cuts up all the momentum. I don't know why. I don't know why they did some of those changes. It's really weird, and especially that the Switch version was out 9 months after all the other versions. More stuff happening in the background. I don't know exactly what's happening, but some guy's Zen is moving really fast. That was close. I'm gonna approach soon the end of the game, so time is soon. It's basically when I'll go through the fence. Time. Thank you, everyone. So yeah, that was Unravel 2 solo any percent. There's a lot of things that have been discovered recently that like just small optimization overall, and like I said, there's like a huge game in chapter 2 now, and the game's probably gonna be a lot different soon. But yeah. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great marathon. Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. That was a very enjoyable little run of such a cute little game.
Thanks.
Next up, we have a speedrun race of streamers, so stay tuned.